Hello, 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 Mosaic Soul. Hey, Mosaic Soul, this is Rachael Alexander, artist and Mosaic Soul mentor, and coming to you today with another car chronicle. Anyways, so this video was definitely inspired by my friend Allison's video. She just did a video about can't find your passions. I'll link it up above. But I wanted to talk about how to follow your passions when you are scared or you quote unquote don't know what they are. And this is really here for my multi-passionate friends, my Mosaic Souls, hence Mosaic Souls. Yeah, so how do you follow your passions when you have so many beliefs, or when you have so much fear around following your passions? A lot of times when we say like we don't know what our passions are, or a lot of times even like with multi-passionates more so, we know what our passions are, like but we just have too many of them. And this is a common theme that I see with Mosaic Souls, because we, as Allison shared in her lovely video, definitely check it out. I'll link it up above. We've been programmed since childhood to not follow our passions. And even if you're multi-passionate, we've been taught that having multiple passions is not a good idea, right? We've been taught that, you're supposed to choose one thing and do that thing for the rest of your life. When, in all honesty, most of us are not like us Mosaic Souls. If you're a Mosaic Soul, you're not built that way. You're not meant to do one thing. And even the people who are single passionate, like, they don't end up doing one thing for the rest of their lives. Most of us end up having more than one job for throughout our entire lives span, right? We end up having more than one job. We're usually good at more than one thing, even if we have single passions, right? We end up doing more than one thing. So I don't know why we have this kind of like program. Like, I do know why. I know exactly why. It's just because it's the way that we've been taught. School, when we went to school, our parents, our friends and family, this is just how our society has been built. Like from school to adulthood, you've been taught that you choose one subject and you go with it. Now, if you're multi-passionate, this feels debilitating, because like we're built to have multiple passions. We're built to do many things. We're built to dive into different things, like some of us might just dabble in some other things, and people like me will dive deep. And like, so for me, like when I think about being multi-passionate and stuff like me, that any of the passions that I'm into, like I go all in, like, like whether it's music, fashion, photography, all the different things that I do, web design, everything that I've ever touched, I've always went, and I just go hard at learning that. And so one of my favorite quotes, and I'll get to how to follow your passion when you have here. One of my favorite quotes is by, what's her name? Maya Angelou. I loved Maya Angelou growing up as a child, because I just loved this. She was the ultimate, Mosaic Soul, one of my ultimate Mosaic Souls. The woman was, a singer. She was a poet, a writer. She danced. She did all these different things in her lifetime. I just loved, what she represented. But one of the things, my favorite quotes by her is like, we do ourselves a disservice to say that we can be a jack of all trades and a master of none. We can be a master of 10,000 things if we wanted to. What does she say? She says, we limit ourselves and we limit our children because we limit God, right? And if you really take that saying, and I love that saying, I think I fell in love with that saying when I was like 15 or something, but when you take the truth of that saying, she's basically pointing to the fact that we are God made manifest in human form. And when we stop limiting the God within us, then we stop limiting who we have come here to be. We are infinite intelligence, right? And so if you come here to be a multi-passionate, if you come here to be a Mosaic Soul, to express your many gifts in the world, you have come here for that. You have everything equipped within your DNA, within your human form. You have all of this power within you. So why can't you be a master of 10,000 things? This idea that you can be a jack of all trades and a master of none, that's total bullshit. You know what I mean? Excuse my language, but It's total BS, because we think like, what is mastery anyways? You know what I mean? This whole, what's an expert and all that stuff is totally made up. We totally made all these constructs, you know? And so because we've made up all these constructs, or we subscribed unconsciously most of the time because we've just been programmed, we subscribe to all these different constructs that says that you can't be a master of many different things, and that you can't be successful doing many different things. Then we limit ourselves, and then we start to feel constricted, and then we start to feel confused, like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I love to do. And then you say, okay, so what really lights you up? We were like, oh, I love yoga, and I love to do herbs, and I love to do this and this and this. And you're like, but I just thought you said you don't know what you love to do. And it's not that we don't know what we love to do, it's that we love to do so many things, but we don't have the belief systems to back up who we are meant to be in the world, right? So how do you follow your passions when you feel fear? First, step number one, you have to start to shift your beliefs and acknowledge, first of all, that you have beliefs operating in the way that you operate in the world that do not support your multi-passionate nature, right? Like my girl said, we've been taught since childhood. Prince E did a really great video on that. I'll link it up above about the school system too. He broke it down really well too in this video. But we've been taught since childhood to not follow our passions. We've been taught when you sit in class, you're listening to a whole class for hours on end about subjects that you probably aren't interested in. Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. Most of the time we aren't. And then you're taught that this is what you do to be successful. And then once you get to age 15, then you got to start looking at colleges and make sure you get good grades, because you got to go to college. College is the path to success. And especially as artistic Mosaic Souls, if you are artsy, even if you aren't artsy, a lot of us don't really need to go to college. College to me, for artists in general, not say that it's a bad path. It's definitely there. We chose to do that. If you want to do that, power to you. If that's what your soul is calling you to do, then hey, that's awesome. But for a lot of us too, that's just not the path for us. You know, hey, I went to college. I'm not knocking it. You know, it definitely was something that I came here to do. But in general, we've been taught that that is the only path to success. That's the only path to financial abundance. That's the only path to, worldly success and all that other stuff, right? So you have to first recognize that operating system is going on within you, right? That's the programming is in full operation. Once you start to understand that, then you have to start to make a conscious decision. It really only takes a decision that you no longer subscribe to that reality, that you are the creator of your own reality, and you choose what reality that you want to create. So you say, okay, I see that reality was a reality that I unconsciously subscribed to because that's the way I was raised. I see that operating. I no longer resonate with that. I'm going to choose this path. This path is represented of, I'm a multi-passionate individual, and I get to choose, and I get to do many different things, and I get to be successful at doing many different things. You have to believe that in order for it to be your reality, right? Like, you have to make a decision that this is what you want, right? And yes, self-doubt is going to come up, and yes, all that other stuff is going to come up, but you know what you do with self-doubt, and when you have discouragement from other people, because anytime you have discouragement or other people judging you, or other people doing things that you feel like you're at effect of, like, oh, well, my family doesn't really support me, or my mom doesn't do this, or my husband doesn't do that. It's just a reflection of your own beliefs. Remember that everybody is playing the part in your lives that you're giving them, right? So if you have people saying, are you sure you want to do that? Or I don't think you can do that. Or you can't charge that much to do that, right? And you have all these self-doubts and people saying stuff to you. They're literally, and I've learned this from experience, that's the only reason why I can talk about it, is they're reflecting back to you your own insecurities, your own beliefs, right? Your own self-doubt, right? And so you recognize that, oh, you're playing an old role that you're playing the role of my old belief system. I no longer resonate with that. So, okay, that's interesting. That's interesting that you believe that. Okay, that's cool. You don't even have to argue with them. You don't have to be like, no, I'm going to be successful, or you don't have to argue with nobody. Look, you create your own reality. And so what you do is you say, okay, you're playing the old role. I'm going to go back and I'm going to give you a new role, because that role don't really jive with me. And I swear to God, when you do that and you start to focus in and focus on the reality that you want to create. Stop focusing on what everybody else says success is. Because remember, this virtual reality that we all live in is all fucking made up. It's like all made up. We all made it up, right? And we all subscribe to it. You have the power to unsubscribe from any reality at any point in time. And when you do that, you also have the power to create a different virtual reality, right? You're always in control. You're never a victim. You are so powerful beyond measure. So that is the first step. First step is recognize, one, you have an old operating system that no longer serves you and serves who you're meant to be in the world, which is this multi-passionate divine being. And then two, you have to start to shift your beliefs to support who you desire to be. It's really that like two-step process. Like, oh, that ain't working. I don't like that reality. I'm going to choose this reality. I'm going to choose the reality where, hey, I can be multi-passionate. I can do many different things. And guess what? I can do them all well. And people are going to love me for it, right? So we have so many different beliefs. And I was just kind of touch on the things that I've had to personally overcome. And I'm not perfect at it. Anything that I'm talking about, I'm not definitely perfect at it, but I've cultivated so much more awareness around these belief systems that it's starting to become my norm, right? So anyways, it's like some of the things that you might face, right? Self-doubt, right? Self-judgment, self-criticism, okay? And so those come up, right? And then how that also manifests is in the opinions of others, right? So you start to worry about other people's opinions, your family, your friends. What are they going to think? Oh, if you're an entrepreneur, your clients, right? Well, I can't do that, especially, oh God, one of the things that I really had to get over in the whole entrepreneurial field, it is not taught to be that you can be a successful entrepreneur and have multiple passions, which is why I do what I do, which is why I love working with Mosaic Souls, because I love debunking that myth, right? This idea that you're supposed to only focus, like your business should only be about one thing, right? You only focus on one specific thing. You don't talk about many different things. You only focus on one thing, because if you talk about many different things, people are going to think that you're scattered. They don't think that you can help them, and then they don't want to work with you. Now, think about that. If you subscribe to that reality, it's going to become your reality, right? If you believe that if I talk about more than one thing in my business, that people aren't going to work with me, boom, you just created that reality. And now you're subscribed to that reality, right? Like, that's how it works. It's really that simple. But we don't realize that that's how the universe works, that the universe is just simply reflecting back to us our own belief systems, right? We live in a mirror society. We live in a mirror universe, and whatever you are believing, it will become your reality. That's just how it works. There's no way to get around that. So that's why I say the steps is recognize you have old systems, old beliefs that ain't working for you, shift to new beliefs. Really, really that simple. Make a decision. It's just make a decision. And sometimes you have to constantly make that decision, because it'll show up in different ways, like in the different ways that it'll show up, like, having people who doubt you, having people who think, oh, well, you're too scattered, they're only reflecting back to you your own beliefs, right? And what you do is you say, oh, that's cool, I'm gonna change that. I don't really resonate with that no more. That's old. New belief. I am divine. I am powerful beyond measure. I can be successful at many different things. I am here because I came here to dive into many different subjects, and that is divine. That is, I am not broken. I don't need to be fixed. I don't need to cut off my other passions. I don't need to fit into your expectations. I don't need to fit into your expectations. I don't need to fit into anybody's expectations. I get to be who I came here to be, because that is who I came here to be. Period. And when you do that, you will start to see it to unfold. Opportunities will open up. Doors will open up where you have doors opening up for one passion, and another thing in another passion. And then this person wants to work with you in this passion, and this person wants to work with you in this passion. And it'll start to flow. And the thing is, in our logical minds, another thing I want you to consider is how to follow your passions when you have fear is the way that your passions play out in your life is not going to be according to our logical mind, right? Because remember, we've had years of programming, years of ways that our logical minds have been programmed to think that success should look like this. Success looks like this, right? If you're a singer, success only looks like this. If you're an actress, success only can come in this way. If you are a healer, success can only come to you in this way. If you are a coach, success can only come to you in this way. You know what I mean? And so we have all these things, all these belief systems, all these pictures of what success looks like, right? But you are divine. And you came here to carve your own freaking path, okay? So it's not going to come to you in the way that you think it will come. Now I definitely encourage you to imagine how you would want to come, how you would want it to feel, right? Take a day and just imagine if, right? Because you are the creator of your own reality, but sometimes you're just not there. So just say if, right? If I had the opportunity to really do exactly what I wanted to, and imagine your perfect days, right? If I had exactly the opportunity that I wanted to do, what I wanted to do, when I wanted to do it, what would I do, right? Okay, and you literally map out, okay, so I wake up in the morning and I'd go have brunch downtown, or I'd, do some yoga in the morning, and then I'd go and maybe, work out, and then maybe I'd dive into this creative project, and then around 2 or 3 o'clock, I'd have some client appointments, and then after that, I'd be doing this, and then this time I'd do this, and then I go work out with my partner, and we'd have lunch and dinner, and blah, blah, blah. You can do that. This is how you create, but most of the time we don't even take the time to do that because we've had so much fear. We've had so much disbelief and so much doubt because we've had all this old programming running around that says that you're not meant to be, that you can't do multiple things and be successful at all of them, right? And then also we have this idea that in our businesses that we can only do one thing. And I love debunking that myth because I know so many freaking Mosaic Souls who do so many different things in their businesses and they're freaking successful at it. You know what I mean? And I also know people who have multiple businesses. So your passions don't only have to fit into one business, and it doesn't only have to, it doesn't mean that you have to have multiple businesses. It's going to show up in the way that it's supposed to be for you. Maybe you will have multiple businesses. Maybe you'll have many different passions on the side and you'll stick with one thing to be your business. Or maybe you'll figure out a way to combine your passions into one single business. There's no right way to do it. There's no right way to live life, right? Get that out of your head. There's no right path to success, right? The path to success is the way that it's supposed to show up for you, right? And you have to trust it. Learning to, you don't have to do anything, but I invite you to trust the passion, the excitement, the joy. When you take that time to imagine your ideal days, for us Mosaic Souls, we don't usually have just one ideal day because we want to do multiple different things. So we probably have 3 or 4 different ideal days where we're going from one passion to the next, ideally for me, I wake up and I do multiple different things, you know what I mean? And my days look completely different from day to day, Operating in my joy looks completely different. One day I'm writing a song, I'm journaling. Other days I'm sitting around the house doing exactly nothing. Other days I'm on coaching calls with clients. Other days I'm, working on a piece of fashion that I love, or making some new music or making a video and stuff like that. My days look different. And it's going to look different for you. Whatever your passions are, it's going to look different for you. But you have to believe that your passions will bring, I invite you to believe that your passions will open doors for a financial abundance to come to you. Because that's the biggest thing that Mosaic Souls struggle with. Will my passions lead to financial abundance, safety, joy, success? If you don't believe that the will, then that will be your reality. It's just you get it. You get that. That's how the world works. Whatever you believe is what you will create. It's really simple, right? So it's you have to start to create and cultivate. I invite you to start to create and cultivate those beliefs within yourself to support who you are meant to be on the planet. And I'm going to be honest, I struggle with that sometimes, okay, I know I really want to do this, but my logical mind will try to take over and it'll be well, this makes more sense because this is the fastest path to cash, right? I've been there. Trust me, I get it. And sometimes today I still struggle with it, but I know from personal experience and from personal success stories and stuff like that, and success of other clients, when you cultivate the beliefs to support your multi-passionate nature, and when you cultivate the beliefs that you are divine and that you have everything, you're well equipped to have everything that you ever desire, and that your multi-passions are not a curse, and that you don't have to cut off all your passions just to do a business, and that you don't have to cut off all your passions just to fit into society, that you can do multiple different things. Because for most of us, you will create that success, right? Because for most of us Mosaic Souls, when we do multiple things, we feel jazzed. We feel lit up. Like yesterday, right? I just shared with you yesterday what my day looked like, right? Yesterday, I really had this urge to do some working out, and I've been really into like gymnastics and stuff, like parkour and stuff like that, and getting my body fit and stuff. So yesterday I spent like an hour, like, working out and like, practicing my handstands and cartwheels, front walkovers and back walkovers and all this stuff. I was just practicing, and I felt amazing, right? And then like soon after that, I was like, okay, ooh, I want to get into fashion. I start sewing stuff, right? Like for me, I'm just following my joy, right? And you have to have, I invite you to have, you don't have to have, right? Every time I say you have to have, I always say flow with what feels good, let go of what doesn't, right? But anyways, I invite you to have an open mind and to cultivate the faith. Now, if you're not there, it's totally fine. Get a day job, get a part-time job, and exercise your passions during your off time. That's totally fine. There's no wrong or right way to do it, right? If you need to get a day job to support yourself until you feel comfortable and confident enough that your passions will continue to bring in money. And the thing is, we always think that our passions is the only way that money can come to us. We always think that our business is the only way that money can come to us. And I can tell you from personal experience, that is not the only way that money comes. That is not the only way that financial abundance and what you desire and what you need is, it can come to you in many different ways. And money is not the only path. Money is one path through which you can get what you desire, right? It's only one path of abundance, right? It's not the path to abundance. So when you fling open the doors to who you're meant to be, to your divinity, then ideas start to emerge, inspiration start to emerge, opportunities, synchronicity start to emerge. And that's when you start to cultivate that passion. So you start to cultivate following your passions as the normal way of living, right? Now, if you are in the beginning phases, I always say just take baby steps. Honor your preferences, right? This is another thing that I like to teach Mosaic Souls. Honor your preferences. Honor what you feel like doing, right? And it might feel like an egoic thing, right? Like it might feel like, oh, well, it's just my ego. Follow your dang on ego. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Your soul is not freaking out like, oh God, her ego took over. Like it really doesn't freaking matter. Like if you feel like doing nothing one day, do that, okay? If you feel like it's an egoic thing, if you feel like just diving deep into a project, but you know what I mean? And it feels like this is what excites you, follow it. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You will get the hang of it. Just take baby steps. It's like when you're learning to walk, you're going to fall. You're going to, you know what I mean? But we always think that falling is failure. There's no such thing as failure. Failure is a made up concept. Failure is a made up concept that is just kind of outdated, and I invite you to ditch it. I was talking to my partner the other day, and he was kind of like beating himself up for past decisions that he made when he was younger in his 20s and stuff. And I was like, none of that matters. You know what I mean? Like that was the human experience that you came here to have. Like there's nothing wrong with it. You didn't make a mistake. You know what I mean? There's no such thing as mistakes. It's only choices and situations and things that arise from those choices, right? And the thing is, you can make new choices at any given moment. That's how powerful you are. That's how divine and beautiful you are, right? You can make a decision to shift to a different choice at any point in time, to shift to a different reality. And that's what literally a reality is. It's just choices, right? It's like you create a different reality by changing the choices that you're making. And becoming more aware of the choices that you're making. Most of us don't know that we're choosing to subscribe to a reality that says that we can't be multi-passionate, that we can't be supported in our multi-passionate nature, that we have to conform to societal norms and expectations of what success looks like, right? But when we become aware that that's what's going on, then you now have a choice. You're no longer a victim. You're no longer, you don't have to succeed to fear and to self-doubt and to other people's expectations, and recognize that people are only going to treat you the way that you treat yourself, right? So if you have self-doubt, if you don't believe in yourself, guess what? Other people are going to reflect that back to you. Now, sometimes you'll have angels and stuff like come to you, and you'll have, one or two people who like really believe in you and they really support you. Like I definitely have those people in my life. But for a lot of us, sometimes we don't have that support system. So you have to create that support system within yourself, right? Within yourself, join other communities if you feel so called to inclined. But you just got to gauge where you are, and make small baby steps to follow your passions every single day, even if it's for 10 minutes a day, for 10 or for an hour a day, like for this hour from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock, I'm going to just let myself do what the heck I want to do. I don't care what anybody has to say. I don't care what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm just going to do what I want to do, what I feel like doing, right? And you don't do things for other people's joy. You don't do things to please other people. And I know this seems selfish, but I talked about it in my other video about how to stop caring about what other people think. I'll link it up above. When you do that, you open the door to allow the universe responds and kind of is like, oh, okay, she wants to create what she wants to create. Okay, we'll give her more of that. Oh, she wants to feel abundance and joy through that. Okay, we'll give her more of that because you're radiating that. You're going to attract more of that because you're radiating that. That's just how it works, right? So you do things because you want to do them. Like, I don't do these videos. Like, if one person saw the video, it ain't nothing to me. Like, okay, the one person who needed to see this video saw the damn video. That's them. Like, that's not me. I don't really do anything. Like I had one beautiful sister under one of my videos say, oh my gosh, why doesn't this video have more views? And I was like, I don't know. I don't care. I was like, I just do it because it was fun to do. It was so fun to create that video, and I put it out and it was awesome. You do things, and when you live from that way, when you live from authenticity, which is what I love to talk, when you live from alignment, when you live from integrity, then people are naturally drawn to you. They're naturally attracted to you because we all want that. We all want to live in our joy. We all want to live in our passion. We all want to live in our highest excitement. And for most of us, sadly, we live in a society where most of us are beaten down from that. We don't live in our joy. We don't live in our passion. We have so much fear around it. And even if we do know what our passions are, we don't have the belief systems to support who we desire to be. And I did a whole 15 minutes talking about that, right? So that's what's going on, and you have the power to shift at any point in time. Any point in time, you have the power to shift and to change whatever reality, to shift to whatever reality you desire to shift to. I did another video. I don't know if I posted it. If I do post it, I'll link it up above. But I did a video on reality subscriptions, right? And it was one thing that my soul led me to do, and it was just this powerful exercise where I sat down literally and for like 30 minutes to an hour, and I sat down, I wrote down all the different realities, all the different belief systems that I was subscribed to, that I didn't really like take into account the fact that I was subscribed to these people's realities. And I was seeing how that was playing out in my life. I sat and I made those correlations. I was like, oh, I subscribe to this person's reality, and this is what they think, and this is how it's playing out in my life, and this is how it's messing up my life, right? Unsubscribe. Why do I want to unsubscribe to this reality? One, because I don't believe that this and this and this and this. I know that I'm a divine being, and I know that I create my own reality. I know that it can be however I want it to be, and this is what I create. It's really that simple. And I sat there, and I kid you not, I went for like an hour, and my soul just guided me to do that. And I literally, all these, like, especially as an entrepreneur, like, I followed a whole bunch of different entrepreneurs. This entrepreneur and this entrepreneur and this person and my mom or this person and the different beliefs that they had, right? And I sat down and I did that, and I wrote down a list of all the different beliefs and all the different realities that I was subscribed to. And on the other side, I was like, how am I subscribed to this reality? And then on the third column, I was like, why I now unsubscribe from this reality and the new reality that I'm creating in place of that belief system. And that's a really simple exercise that you can do that will help you to start to create and cultivate that belief and that inner knowing that you are divine and that you're powerful, right? Like, one of the things that I've been cultivating within myself is this idea of having a steady flow of clients in my business, right? And of clients in thing, and it to be natural and easy, right? For people to just naturally want to work with me. For there's no hullabaloo, there's no sales tactics, no trying to manipulate people to get on the phone and all that stuff. I don't have to do that, right? I just get on the phone, the person knows they wants to work with me, and they sign up. I kid you not. I kid you not. I did that exercise. The next day I got on the phone call. The person signed up to work with me. This is how powerful we are. Okay. Like I'm telling you. So that's you. I just invite you to try that exercise and to start unsubscribing from people's realities that no longer freaking resonate with you, you know, because that's what's going on. You're just subscribed to a whole bunch of realities, you have a whole bunch of subscriptions that are outdated, that don't need to be there. You just need to unsubscribe. Okay. I unsubscribe, I'm taking out, nope, I'm no longer juicing you up. You don't have any more relevance in my reality. And now I'm going to create this reality because this is where I'm vibing, right? So I hope this has been helpful. I was so jazzed up when I saw my friend's video and I was like, yes, I want to expound on this, especially for my Mosaic Souls, my multi-passionate divine souls who came here knowing that they have multiple passions. And I just want to encourage you that there's nothing wrong with you. And I know I personally had to get over that. You know what I mean? And I didn't really know how I was creating it. And when I did that reality subscriptions, I was like, oh, I subscribe to this person's reality. I subscribe to this person's belief because they said that I can't have multiple passions and I can't have a successful business. I can't talk about many different things and still have a successful business. I can't do this and this and still have a success, you know what I mean? And still live my life the way I want to, you know what I mean? I have to choose one thing and then I'll be successful, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't realize that was what was going on. And of course, if that's what's going on, that's what you're creating, you know? And so I hope that, you know, me sharing my story helps you along on your journey to really being who you came here to be, which is a divine, freaking powerful being that you are, you know? And it's so juicy. Life is so juicy on the other side of fear, you know? On the other side of fear, following your passions, it will just open doors that you didn't even know possible. And you're like, whoa, where the heck did that come? You created your own reality. Of course you created it. You know what I mean? And the great thing is, you know, that we have higher selves, that we have souls, that we have divine teams. I call it my spirit fam, that we have spiritual families who are watching over us, who are guiding us. We have intuition. We can lock into that that awesome stuff at any point in time. And when we do that, there's so much that we have access to, you know. Anytime you're feeling unclear, take a second, be quiet, be still, and ask for guidance. You have that internal guidance, that internal compass, you know what I mean? And use whatever tools that you love to use, you know? Like one of the things I'll show you, I never used to use this stuff, but my boyfriend put me onto this. I love using these things. Do I use it all the time? Sometimes I don't. I go through like periods of time where I just kind of like, I don't know, I'm just going to listen to what I feel like doing. But you can utilize tools to help you. Like these are tarot cards, you know. Sometimes, especially when you feel blocked, it's a great tool that you can use to kind of just get out of your own way. Like you can pull a tarot card, ask questions, and essentially you're just asking your higher self. It's not like you're asking some entity outside, God, who's separate from you and all knowing. Like you are God. Like one of the things my soul was sharing me the other day was like, you are the God of your own universe. Stand firm in your power and recognize that you create through your predominant vibe. That's how freaking powerful you are, Mosaic Soul. You are the God of your own universe. You're the God of your own world. You create through your predominant vibes, through your beliefs and what you're focusing and expecting. That's what you're creating. And so use whatever tools you feel you need to do to cultivate that inner knowing until it becomes normal, until it starts to feel like, oh yeah, this is what following my fashion feels like. Okay, I'm going to follow. And do whatever you need to do. There's no wrong or right path. If you need to get a job, that's fine. If you need to do whatever you need to do, there's no wrong or right path to living your life. You know, to being the version of yourself that you most want to be. There's no wrong or right path. So I hope that this video has been helpful, you know, and if it has, definitely give thumbs up, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And yeah, Go out there and live your thing. Do your thing. Do your thing, girl. Do your thing, man. You're powerful. You're powerful. You are divine. Peace, love, and light. You're ready to step into your divinity, and you're ready to create a life and business that aligns with your divine power, authentic self, and soul. And it all is encompassed in divine living, where you live and create from an internal place of abundance rather than fear. If you're ready to increase your awareness, cultivate your intuition, and access your divine power, then sign up for my Divine Living 8-day mini course. In this course, you're going to learn how to slow down and become more present, how to let go of self-judgment and criticism, how to open up to what's already here and what's possible for your life, and so much more. If you're ready to get started, then click the link in the description box below or above this video to get started.